Welcome back, focused learners. Let's jump right into this explainer because today we're tackling a premise that honestly sounds like a total financial fairy tale. We're going to look at the incredible journey of a single dollar bill growing into an absolute fortune without you ever having to lift a finger once it's in motion. I know it sounds literally impossible, but today we're uncovering the undeniable math behind how everyday people build extraordinary wealth over a lifetime. Okay, let's dive into this with a quick thought experiment. I want you to imagine you just have a single dollar. Not $1,000, not 10 grand, literally just one solitary dollar bill. Imagine you tuck it away somewhere it can grow, just quietly and patiently doing its thing. You don't add a single penny to it, and you definitely don't take anything out. So you really have to ask yourself, can that one single dollar actually become $1 million? Is this just some clickbaity headline, or is there real, foundational math behind this wild idea? Well, spoiler alert, the answer is a resounding yes. It absolutely can. And honestly, understanding exactly why it works is probably one of the most valuable lessons you could ever learn when it comes to personal finance.
You see, the secret engine room making this massive leap possible isn't just dumb luck. It's not a winning lottery ticket, and it's certainly not some risky crypto gamble. It is the hardcore mathematical reality of compound growth. Compound growth simply means you're earning returns not just on your original money, that one single dollar, but you're also earning returns on all the returns that dollar has already earned in the past. It's basically money making money, which then goes out and makes even more money. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the exact formula powering all this wealth creation. Let's lift the hood for a second. The math is actually beautifully simple. Future value equals your principal multiplied by 1 plus your interest rate, all raised to the power of the number of years. And honestly, it's that exponent right there, the years, that acts as the real magic trick in this whole equation. Let's actually plug some numbers in here. Say we use a 10% average annual return, which is roughly the historical average of the US stock market before inflation. Okay, so after 10 years, your dollar is, well, it's only worth $2.59. Kind of underwhelming, right? By year 50, it's sitting at about $117. Skip to year 100, and you're at nearly 14 grand. But to finally hit that massive $1 million mark, yep, it takes about 146 years.
And right there is the catch, isn't it? Unless you've somehow discovered the secret to immortality, 146 years is way longer than a human lifetime. Obviously, nobody invests a single dollar exactly one time and waits a century and a half to spend it. That's just the theory. What people actually do in the real world is invest small amounts repeatedly over their working lifetime. So let's look at a much more realistic scenario. Someone investing $300 a month starting at age 25, earning, let's say, an 8% return for 40 years.
Check out the massive contrast here. Over those 40 working years, your total out-of-pocket contribution, that $300 a month, adds up to just $144,000. But look at the total value at retirement. It's roughly $1 million or even more. And guys, that is the true, real-world $1 to $1 million story. It's not about a single dollar sitting perfectly still. It's about building a solid habit of small, steady contributions compounding over decades.
Section 1. Why compounding feels slow, then fast. Or as I like to call it, the deception of the first 2 decades. Now, you might be wondering, if the math is so reliable, why doesn't everyone just do this? Well, it's because compounding is incredibly deceptive. It's honestly agonizingly boring at first. I mean, look at this. After 10 whole years of diligently putting away our $300 every single month, your balance is only about $54,000. The vast majority of that money, it's just your own hard-earned contributions. The compounding effect barely feels like it's doing anything at all, and unfortunately, this is exactly where most people just get bored and walk away.
But you absolutely have to keep going, because right around year 20, things really start to shift. You log in to look at your account, and suddenly you're at approximately $170,000. At this exact point, the mathematical growth is finally starting to outpace your actual out-of-pocket contributions. The snowball is finally packing on real weight and really picking up momentum. Let's move to and see how this builds, because by year 30, you are sitting at roughly $430,000. No joke. The compounding growth isn't just helping out a little bit anymore, it is the undeniable dominant majority of your entire balance. Your money is literally working harder than you are at your day job.
And then the grand finale. By year 40, your balance completely explodes past that $1 million mark.
The compounding growth completely and utterly dwarfs that original $144,000 you put in over your lifetime. I mean, look at that chart. The final 10 years absolutely skyrocketed your wealth. It's incredible.
Albert Einstein actually reportedly called compound interest one of the most powerful forces in the universe. Now, whether or not he actually said those exact words, well, the sentiment holds entirely true. The first 20 years of investing feel painstakingly, frustratingly slow. But those last 10 years, they do all the heavy lifting. They're the real game changer.
So what does this all mean for us? How can we actually distill this entire thought experiment into practical, everyday knowledge? Well, there are 3 really tangible, actionable lessons ordinary people can take from this explainer to start building extraordinary wealth. First, time is worth far more than timing. Second, consistency beats intensity every single time. And third, your rate of return matters, sure, but time matters significantly more.
And this brilliantly illustrates our very first lesson. Starting early always beats starting big. Someone who invests just $200 a month, starting at age 25, is almost always going to end up with way more money than someone investing double that amount, $400 a month, but waiting to start until age 35. Even though the late starter actually put in way more total dollars out of their own pocket, the early starter wins. Why? Because time is the absolute ultimate multiplier.
Moving on to our second lesson. Consistency absolutely beats intensity. Setting up a small, automatic monthly contribution that literally never stops is usually going to outperform sporadic, massive deposits. And the reason is simple. Automating the whole process completely removes our own flawed human psychology from the equation. It gets rid of that dangerous temptation to try and perfectly time the market or, the temptation to skip a few months just to buy something you don't actually need.
So the crucial point is this third lesson. While your rate of return definitely matters, time matters so much more. Yes, getting a higher percentage return on your investments helps immensely, no doubt about it. But stretching that same money over a longer span of years has a deeply outsized compounding effect. Every single extra year of growth is just incredibly powerful, precisely because it's building on top of all the years prior.
At the end of the day, that single dollar doesn't turn into $1 million all by itself, and it certainly doesn't happen overnight. But the patient compounding growth we've explored in this explainer today, that is the very real practical blueprint for financial freedom. The real magic isn't the dollar, my friends. The magic is the decades. So the only real question left to ask yourself right now is, are you ready to start the clock? Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next one.